And we want to talk about volunteering. Yesterday, if you were joining us on the stream, we talked about contributing, monthly gifts, financial contributions. But what if you don't have money and you do have time? Well, there's a value to that time, those volunteer hours, and a new study breaking down those hours, putting a dollar value on your volunteer hours. Independent sector and the Do Good Institute report of the national value of a volunteer hour has climbed to $36.14 across the nation. Here in Georgia, that value rising even faster than anywhere else in the country. So let's talk about it because we know so many of you all are out there volunteering. How much is that time really worth? Here to talk about it is Dr. Akilah Watkins joining us, President and CEO of Independent Sector. Dr. Watkins, thank you so much. It's so great to see you here virtually, and thank you for being here on the stream. Hey, volunteering your time to speak with us, so we know that that time is very valuable. I want to ask you, why put a dollar amount on these hours? Why is that needed?
So first of all, thank you for the opportunity to talk about this incredible piece of research coming out of independent sector. So let's get right to your question. First of all, it it is hard to actually monetize the true value that individuals contribute to the 1.9 million organizations across this country, and the more the hundreds of thousands that are happening in the state of Georgia right now. But what the value of volunteer time does do is give people a metric. It gives people a way to talk about value, in a way that we can talk about it across states, across this country, in a way for us to account for the great work of volunteerism. But in no way is it able does it capture the fullness of what volunteers contribute, to the organizations across this country and the great state of Georgia.
That's right. And you speak, let's talk about Georgia specifically. I have some numbers here, Dr. Watkins. The national number up, we just talked about that, $36.14 an hour. But Georgia saw the biggest jump from $32.63 to $35.22 over the previous year. What exactly is driving that growth here in our state?
Yeah, it's almost an 8% increase, and it was something that was of interest to us. I will say there's a lot more research that has to be done to get behind that number, but what I will say is that the value of volunteer time, is derived from a couple of different sources, but particularly we're looking at actual labor statistics in the state of Georgia, and how they have risen over time, and also looking at inflation in the particular state and being able to come up with a calculation that drives this new number, across the state of Georgia of $35.22, right? Um, Americans know things are costing more, when they go to the grocery store, when they pick up the supplies for their kids at school. We know that, we feel that, and volunteer time is nothing different. It costs more to volunteer.
Can you go, and I know you touched about this on the first question, but can you go a little bit more into detail about how nonprofits and organizations can use this data to benefit them, this dollar amount? And to be honest with you, Dr. Watkins, this is the first time I'm hearing about this. I never even thought, I know obviously you can volunteer your time, but I never even thought about putting a dollar amount behind it. But yeah, if you were getting paid, this is how much you would have to get paid to do this, right?
Yeah, so there are a lot of different reasons why we do this, and we encourage people to go to our website. We have been collecting, and actually helping to, create this financial metric around volunteer time for quite some time here at Independent Sector. So I encourage folks, to go to our website and really download this report. It's important for a couple of different reasons. One, it helps nonprofits be able to track, some human capital. Right. So we track in terms of employees we have. We actually want to also be able to track the value that volunteers provide to organizations just from a purely economic perspective. So it's a great way to compare, different, populations that, and organizations interacts with. The other reason too is that organizations may want to use the number in any sort of reporting to the public,
Mm.
right? Some organizations use this number as a way to account for labor when they are putting and developing their financial documents for their constituents and for the public. So it is a great way to communicate the fullness of volunteerism in our country. We still use stories. We know that stories are important. This becomes an add-on, a really important addition that not only can we talk about the economic impact of volunteers, and what they provide to individual organizations and to communities and to states, um, but coupling that with the great stories that volunteers actually drive in our respective organizations and communities, that's what we hope organizations would do with this information.
Hey, and the reality is, Dr. Watkins, numbers talk, data talks, money talks, even if it's within the volunteer hours, right? So I mean, it's incredible that you all are even giving this database, this report for those organizations, and something that's been here for a while. Now, let me ask you this. What industries are seeing the most benefit and really the increased need for volunteers? What are you monitoring?
Yeah, so what we are seeing is that for there are 1.9 million um, charitable nonprofits across this country, and two-thirds of them use volunteers, right? So this is going to grow, especially as the needs of nonprofits continue to grow across this country. Nonprofits are seeing increased needs for, you know, feeding Americans, clothing Americans, educating Americans. We know this. And so volunteers become a way that nonprofits can continue to meet the needs of their community in a way that can help them manage the cost of growing a team, right?
Oh, yeah.
So this data is incredibly important. It also helps states like the state of Georgia. Like we know that volunteers contribute to $5.8 billion to the state's GDP. That's incredible. Those are real numbers. That has a real value in the state of Georgia. And so, our report, we want to be able to really talk with policymakers and be able to make the case that volunteerism is important, and having numbers, clear numbers, and the value that volunteers produce for the state is a great way to start those conversations with policymakers.
Absolutely. As somebody who speaks to a lot of policymakers, we want to see the numbers. They want to see the numbers, and you have that
They
data
want
there.
to
You
see the
can't compete with the
numbers.
numbers. Let me ask you this
They
for those
do.
for those who are watching, and I started off with this, and it's something that you often talk about when you're talking about volunteering. Right now is hard out there. People can't even
It
afford
is.
gas, food, whatnot. But what we do all have is time. It depends on where you put those resources. Where do you put that time? How can people who don't have $10 to give, don't have $50 to give to an organization, how can they use that time to impact? And we can look according to the numbers, Miss Dr. Watkins, according to the
Yeah,
numbers.
according to the numbers, this is the wonderful thing about volunteerism, is that it is not predicated on how much money you have in your pockets. We all know going to that gas tank is draining us a lot more this month. Very, very clear. But you can still volunteer and you can still contribute no matter what your economic situation is. And I think that's the beautiful thing about the charitable nonprofit sector, is that your individual financial situation is not a prerequisite for participating in volunteering and rolling up your sleeves and getting out there and making community better for your neighbors and friends, right? And so that's the message we want to get to all Americans, is that volunteerism, it matters. It has a cost to it. You, and we need volunteers. We need more volunteers going to their local nonprofits, rolling up their sleeves, and being willing to contribute to the overall just betterment of their communities.
And you know what I'll tell you for those watching, I mean, any organization will take you as a volunteer. I tell you what, some of them obviously you have to be vetted and they don't want just anybody in
Yes.
there. But if you have time, even if it's a couple of hours on a Saturday before or after work, something that your kids are involved in, just anything, like you, Dr. Watkins says, it is so true, it is so needed. Your time is so valuable, and you can check the value yourself. Dr. Watkins, how can people see this data?
Yes, we invite people go to our website at www.independentsector.org, and really download and read the report. It is exciting, but it also helps to educate you on the value of volunteerism. I just want to say thank you to the 2.2 million volunteers in the state of Georgia. Keep volunteering and bring a friend next time.
Keep volunteering. And while you were talking, we pulled up the website. So for those who, when you
Great.
go to the website, that's what you'll see. Have fun, play around, it's interactive. And thank you to the 2.2 million volunteers. Hopefully we can keep that number up, 2.3, 2.6, 3.2. Keep it up, up, up. Dr. Watkins, thank you so much for coming on the stream and volunteering your time to educate us a little bit more. We appreciate it.